My name is Emily, or M. Affolter, and I am the Associate Dean of Doctoral Programs at Prescott College on unceded Yavapai lands in Prescott, Arizona. And I have been in this role as the head of our Sustainability Education Doctoral Program for 7 years. And it's a wonderful place to be. So I encourage you all to inquire more if you want to learn more about what we do. But today I want to talk a little bit about social and environmental justice and experiential place-based learning. I also want to share that just a little bit about myself. I use she, ella, or they pronouns, and a lot of my research is really based in understanding and dismantling white supremacy culture and thinking about systems of oppression, both socially and ecologically, and how do we look to dismantle those systems. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I was excited to share today. So my colleague Pavel Sankel, who is a friend of Ecoversities, was double booked, and so he invited me to take his place, but he's here in spirit too. And I was thinking, I had a little bit of lead time and thought I'd love to share with you all something that some colleagues and I got to do last week as part of experiential, global, and place-based pedagogy that is embodying sort of our social and environmental justice values. So the program that I work in, it's like I said, Sustainability Education PhD. And we have 130 scholars from all over the world. We are based in Prescott, Arizona, but we have campuses in Bahia de Quino, Mexico, and also in East Africa, Maasai land. So I just got back from Bahia de Quino this week, which is why I want to talk about that, but I wanted to share a little bit broadly about what that looks like, because our students, they live everywhere, and then they have opportunities to engage in place. And I think it's a pretty dexterous model that supports both place-based learning and relational connection, and at the same time really engaging in your own community and your own home. So you don't uproot fully to be part of this doctoral community, but you have opportunities to engage. This is Medame Ole Depache, this is his photo, and he and my colleague Mary Poole co-wrote an incredible book called Decolonizing Maasai History, which was his dissertation that I had the honor of chairing. And it's an open access textbook about Maasai history written from a Maasai perspective. So really rethinking the colonial narrative, and all of that work has been done through and at our campus in East Africa. So I wanted to feature it because, much like the Bahia de Quino campus, which I'll share with you more intimately, we have this similar work happening in East Africa. So we did a retreat, like I said last week, and we went to our campus in Bahia de Quino, and I wanted to show you all. Prescott is about, can you see my cursor? Yeah, Prescott's right up here in northern Arizona, and we drive. So we pick people up in Phoenix, they fly to Phoenix, we pick them up in Tucson, and we keep driving all the way here to Bahia de Quino, which is where we have a campus that's been there for about 30 plus years. We have 25 full-time staff who are, I think 23 of them are Mexican citizens, several of them are indigenous Comcaac, and this is the Comcaac territory, and then 2 are US citizens. So it's a really diverse group, and it's a small fishing community that's doing really rich biocultural and ecological community-based conservation work together. And so I think it's really cool because we have this group. So this is our PhD retreat group, and we are on the Comcaac territory learning about traditional ecological plant medicine here. And we just had huge rains, so you can see the cordon cactus is really like rich and full. And I just shared a little bit looking at this community, the kinds of things folks are learning who come here are, we have an ocean species international survivalist, we have a Mexican community-based, Guerrero-based conservation group, we have community garden educators, we have folks studying wide-scale climate anxiety approaches in higher education. We have folks looking at oral histories around nuclear climate health and health inequities. We have BIPOC outdoor recreation work, equity pedagogy, and environmental Mexican and Colombian theater, like theater work based on the youth. So this is one of the theater productions that was happening while we were there, where the local community youth were putting on one of their plays around turtle conservation. So I know it's a lot of words, but it's just really fun to see. So all these people are doing this work all over, and they come from many different countries. And then they all come together and see the work that's happening in Bahia de Quino, and then we look at how do these things engage with each other? What's the transference here? How can we take lessons from the anti-colonial praxis that the Comcrop people are sharing here and looking at their traditional ecological medicines and bring it back into the kinds of work that folks are doing at home. So again, I just wanted you all to see, it's so cool. It was so joyful to learn about fisheries, learn about indigenous knowledge systems and marine science, learn about embodied and community engaged pedagogy, and then say, how can this support, deepen, refine, and animate the dissertation work that you're doing back home? And it's rich. So yeah, it's transdisciplinary, truly. It's embodied and immersive. Everything happening at Bahia de Quino is community-led and community-engaged. It's collaborative, it's restorative and reciprocal. And what was so cool, and this is what I want to underscore, is everyone really found themselves reflected in some way in the stories that we were engaging with in Bahia de Quino, and that's really exciting. I wrote, because I study pedagogy, but windows and mirrors, so you can see beyond yourself through the window, and you can also see yourself reflected in the mirror in what they're doing at Quino Bay. So I wanted to thank my colleague Pavel Sankel, so I gave him a little shout out, who is the reason I'm here. Feel free to find me on LinkedIn if you want to continue the conversation, email me, or even learn more about our doctoral program.